With me now, Dr. Mehmet Oz to give us a state of the race. And sir, good morning to you. Waking up near Philadelphia today. Haven't spoken in a while. Thanks for coming back and good morning. I want to point out two things for you. On the money race on screen, he's raised about $26 million. A lot of cash. You've raised a lot of money too at $19 million. However, when you look at the polling, Fetterman at 46, Oz at 37, he leads you by 9 points. What do you think the state of the race is as of now, Doc? Good morning.
I think your assessment is right. It's a toss-up for the reasons you've stated. As voters in Pennsylvania begin to focus in on the real issues that are bothering them, the pocketbook issues, the rampant rise in crime in Philadelphia being a good example of a very personal, everyday issue here where I live. They're not going to hesitate. Joe Biden has not addressed their problems. John Fetterman is a rubber stamp for the Biden agenda. And interestingly, today in Biden's visit, he's fundraising primarily. He's not visiting those suffering from his disastrous policies. And I think Pennsylvania deserves leaders who hear their problems. I'm an immigrant's kid. I've lived the American dream. I work hard. I'm the opposite of John Fetterman. Where is he? Folks in the inner city say they're doing a social experiment on us. That's the wording they use. No one's paying attention to the unbelievable increase in crime, the most ever murders in Philadelphia history, and yet Fetterman's barking out, although he's not leaving his home, that 1/3 of all prisoners ought to be released in Pennsylvania. This just doesn't connect with what people are experiencing in their day-to-day lives.
Fetterman is leaving his home today. Apparently he has some fundraisers scheduled starting later tonight. No media allowed, but this will be the first time he's really out there since he suffered a stroke on Election Day. He gave an interview yesterday and said this about his health. Physically, I have no limits, and mentally, again, as I mentioned before, the only issue is that my hearing is still a little bit not perfect. I might miss a word every now and then in a conversation, or I might slur two words. Even then, I think that's infrequent. How do you see that go? You're a doctor. You've thought about issues like this for other patients for years. What do you think of that comment?
Well, since I'm not his physician, I can't comment about his case specifically. We don't know anything about what happened in May. His doctors have not been allowed to speak about his history, which is their personal choice. But I got to say, I'm less worried about John Fetterman's ability to join the campaign and more worried about what he would do if he was in office in the United States Senate, because he's got some very radical ideas, including dismantling our energy, which in Pennsylvania hurts communities. He doesn't understand the implications of some of his reckless spending desires on inflation. It's without question a problem to have sanctuary cities in Pennsylvania, and he's for a porous border. He wants to privatize, rather cancel all private health care. I feel the opposite. And someone who studied medicine, and I went to business school at Wharton to study healthcare finance, I know his idea of socializing medicine, which he had with Bernie Sanders, and they've endorsed each other and call each other the most progressive candidates in America. These are not ideas that will work in Pennsylvania. He's also against a lot of the desires of parents in Pennsylvania to play a role with their kids. Listen, I've got all my ideas and the reasons I think we'll win on DrOz.com. I strongly encourage viewers to consider supporting me financially as well, because, as you mentioned earlier, the Democrats have really brought out the Bernie supporters. That stated, we have better ideas. We have a better solution for the big problems facing Pennsylvania, and they're ones that will work nationally as well, because we're a bellwether for the country, not just politically, but in terms of policy as well.
I got a minute left here. Just two quick things. I don't know this answer. Will you debate each other? Has that been established, yes or no?
I would love to debate John Fetterman. I'll accept any debate offer that comes in. It's pretty early in the campaign, so we haven't had a lot of offers. But believe me, I'll be out there. Okay, I love talking.
To be determined,
Bill, you know that.
To be determined. You mentioned energy several times in this segment here. On screen, in Pennsylvania alone, this is how much that state relies on energy. It supports almost 500,000 jobs. Right, call for number 3, guys. 6% of Pennsylvania's total employment. Provides $40 billion in labor income. 8% of the state's total. Contributed $78 billion to Pennsylvania's GDP. Now, this is huge in the rural section, western part of PA. But you believe southeastern Pennsylvania, around Philadelphia, is the key to your victory. Explain that, 30 seconds or less.
We've got lots of women in the suburbs who are rethinking who they should vote for, and they'll come to our side this election because they're worried about their kids and not being able to play a role in the values and the schools that their kids go to. And the inner city of Philadelphia is very upset by crime, where police have been completely pushed to the side. There's, open warfare many nights, and families can't leave their homes. But you point out energy real quickly. It destroys communities in Pennsylvania. And when John Fetterman says that fracking and energy are staying on Pennsylvania, that speaks volumes about what he and Joe Biden are doing. They are not following the science. Believe me, that by arguing the Green New Deal is the way forward, they're not paying attention to the fact it cannot happen in the way it's designed, in the timeline promised. We must have some of the energy in Pennsylvania under our feet here come out to support our country, drop prices, and help communities.
All right, we got an open invite for John Fetterman. He can join us any day of his choosing. That is outstanding. We hope he takes us up on that. Dr. Mehmet Oz will speak down the road. Thank you for your time.
God bless you, Bill. Take care.
All right, Sandra.
Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube channel to catch our nightly opens, stories that are changing the world and changing your life. From Tucker Carlson tonight.